My name is Tyler Eathouse, and this is my champion story. I was born here in Las Vegas. I lived here my whole life. Honestly, I love it here. It's cool here. I like it. I started playing football at the age of 5. My dad supported me, my mom, and I have a brother and sister, older brother, younger sister. My older brother, I didn't really live with him that much. He's like way old. He's 29 now. I'm 17. My little sister's a year younger than me. And she does dance, and I love both of them to death. When I started playing football when I was 5, I kind of felt forced into it from my dad at the beginning, but as I got older and older, like around turned about 8 or 9, I started like, okay, like maybe like I actually like this. So I started getting into it more. I wouldn't really work out as much. I would kind of just, like go to practice, go home, like do what an 8 or 9-year-old kid would do, just have fun, chill, whatever, like hang out with my friends or whatever. When I turned 11, one of my friends was like, hey, like you should come to this training with me. And I was like, oh, okay, like whatever, right? So I come here. The first time I worked out here, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the worst thing in my life. Like I'm never coming back here. Like this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Whatever. I talked to my dad about it. He's like, well, this is good for you. This is good thing for you. Going to football, like when you're in high school and all that. Like when you go to Green Valley, and it's just something that you're gonna have to do: work out, run, lift weights, all that kind of stuff. So he's like, it'll be worth it in the long run. Like it's hard. The work is hard, but it's worth all that hard work in the long run. So I started coming here. As you progress, the months go by, as you come here, you can see a difference in performance, especially like in your strength, your speed, and even like playing football. Like the mindset thing is big. Like everything's mental. I feel everything's mental. So the mentality thing of it is, I'm a champion. Think work like a champion. That's how I live. That's what I live by every day. Think about that all the time. Thinking like a champion, think working like a champion. That's just something that I live by every day, and it means something to me because of how long I've been here. It just means something to me with the coaches and the trainers that are here. It's just a great experience to learn that mindset. It's the best mindset there is out there, to be honest, because I would be nowhere where I am today if I didn't come here. So I kept going here, and when I was in 8th grade, I started to play left tackle in football, and I was only like 5'6", like 135 pounds. I was this little kid. I was strong for my size, but it was really nothing, to be honest, back then. And I worked my tail off, and I felt I was a pretty good left tackle, being undersized. I was playing against kids that were double my size every single game, and I held my own up against them. And after 8th grade, I went to Green Valley High School freshman year, and I switched to play linebacker because I thought that was the best opportunity for me to get on the field and play my best. And that ended up working out in the long run because I had a pretty good freshman season. Our freshman team went 9-0. We were undefeated, and it was a pretty great experience. I love all the coaches on that team and the players, and that was just the greatest decision of my life to do that. And after that freshman season, I would come in here and we work out all the time. And I would also work out with my other coach, Coach Batiste. He was a great guy. I love that guy. That was my guy. He was my guy. And we would do that up until the winter, and then during spring we would work out. Same thing, like work for my sophomore season, because that year I was trying to be a starting varsity linebacker as a sophomore, and that's a pretty hard thing to do. Like not a lot of people can start as a sophomore on varsity, so I kind of thought I felt like I was able to do it working out here and with my coach Batiste. So I thought I was able to do that with all the hard work I put in. But in March, we were at school and we got the little announcement. They're like, hey, like you guys got 2 weeks off of school, and everybody was so excited. All this and all that. They're like, you guys could come back in 2 weeks, and we ended up never coming back for a really, really long time. COVID really hit a lot of people different. Like it was horrible for a lot of people, and horrible for everybody. Like I got one last workout in with my coach Batiste like before on a Saturday, and then didn't work out outside my house for a couple months. It was pretty hard because I didn't really have a lot of equipment. Maybe I had a couple dumbbells, and I would do push-ups and just a lot of body work stuff, but it was really rough. Especially because we had summer workouts starting. I was like, man, I felt like all this hard work I put in just was wasted because I thought I wasn't going to get a sophomore season. So what ended up happening was we started up a little 7-on-7 thing a couple months after COVID. Like we had to all wear masks. It was really, really restricted. So like everybody had to get COVID tests and all this and all that to like even play. And it was some big thing. Like obviously like safety's a big thing. But I mean that was the only way we could play. So we ended up doing that for a little bit. It was like kind of like a club deal. It was like people from other schools and all that. So yeah, it was a fun experience. I enjoyed it. I mean, I wasn't really that good at 7-on-7 back then because, you know, I'm like a new linebacker and I didn't really even know like how to cover people. All I would do is just tackle the guy with the ball. So I kind of thought, man, like this would be like good work for me. So I tried out for the team and then I made the team and then that all happened. The tournaments happened, whatever. And then we ended up having more 7-on-7 with the high school, Green Valley High School. And I ended up making the varsity team for the 7-on-7, and I felt great about that. It was a great experience, but I mean, I wasn't starting, but I was second string, and I thought to myself, I was like, dang, like, I think I should be starting. So I put in the work. I mean, I showed it on the field, like, I'm that guy. And I ended up starting the last couple games we had later in the 7-on-7, and when that was over, I ended up, you know, I kept working out. I kept working out here. I got stronger. After and during my sophomore year, I think I put on like 40 pounds, 50 pounds, and I got way stronger, way faster, all because of this place right here. And this place right here and my coach Batiste, for sure, these are the people that really changed me and getting myself to where I'm at now. And you can, like I said, they can see on the field, like my performance just went up like super high. 2021. I kept working out here and everything, and our summer workout started for Green Valley. I worked and I worked and I worked. I worked out here. I'd work out like 3 times a day, so I would have summer workouts in the morning for a couple hours, and then I come here and work out for an hour, and then I would go over to my coach's house and we go lift weights, get like a little extra workout in. I love the extra work. I think everybody should have extra work. The thing is with Green Valley, a lot of the kids there, which I hate, it's kind of the culture there, but like I try and convince people to like change it. So like I try to convince people that like the summer workouts in the morning, like that's good work, but I feel like you need more. So that's why I came here and went to my coach's house, because I feel like that extra work is needed. The regular stuff, like summer workouts, like that's cool and all, but like the extra work is needed, because you can tell the people who are doing extra work and tell people who aren't. You can tell those people that are like, oh, like getting by the summer workouts, and the people that actually care and actually try. So I try getting people on that train. I mean, I think it worked that year. That it worked because I would always go work out with my friends at my coach's house. Everybody would show up, we'd all work out, and I try and bring people in here too, especially after my junior season. Junior season happens. We had a pretty good year. We went 7-3. I thought I had a pretty good season. I was honorable mention for all conference, and I mean that kind of made me mad because I thought I had a pretty good season. So after all that happened, decent senior season or junior season, I was motivated to get like I want to be an all-state guy. I know I'm an all-state guy, and that's just like what I strive to do. And I know I'm that guy that can get scholarship offers, go play at a good school, play up there on a high level. So I worked that off season to eventually get up to that all-state level. I knew I was, but I just needed that motivation to keep putting the work in. We're working, and then this year we're in 2022. Early that year, my papa passed away, and that hit me pretty hard, especially my mom. Like seeing her having to go through all that, like I didn't really see her a lot during that time. So it kind of hurt because I had to do a lot of stuff on my own, but that didn't last super long, which was good. But the grief and the pain didn't last super long, which was good. But it hurt my mom way more than me, but it also hurt me too, because seeing him pass away hurt me, and it also made it worse on me to see my mom and how she was reacting to that, and it just had an effect on me. So that definitely made me have more motivation to keep working, because I know he's up there watching me, and he always wanted me to be successful. He would take me to football practices, Even my grandma would take me to football practices when I was way younger, like 11 years old. They'd take me to football practices, and I would always remember they were telling me, like, go get them, like, always saying good job and stuff to me at my practices. So I thought, like, that was something that gave me motivation to become better and take that next level. And that's what I ended up doing. I worked out for two months. I was like, man, I gotta do this for him. And then it was March 22nd this year, 2022. I was in my weight training class and I'm just working out with a couple of my teammates, and Coach Bush was one of our freshman coaches. He came in the room and he's like bawling his eyes out. I knew he was crying, so like I was like, what is it? Like, what's going on? So he's in the room. One of our other coaches, Coach JJ, he's in there and he's calming him down and all that. And then Coach Bush is still crying, and then Coach JJ comes out and he's like really sorry to tell you guys, but like Coach Batiste just passed away. Like it was unexpected. Like it was the unexpected. He was fine. He was good. He was in good shape. It was unexpected, and everybody that knew him in there just started crying. Like it was the worst thing ever. Like I was bawling my eyes out. Like I've never cried that hard in my life before, because like how much he meant to me as a coach, because he really cared about me. He cared about everybody. He was that kind of guy that he wanted everybody to be successful, and him passing was the worst thing ever, because he was my freshman coach, and it sucks because he can't be here for my senior season. And I thought that all the hard work I put in, he's gonna see it, all this and all that, was gonna pay off, and he was gonna see me be at the top as a linebacker. But that ended up being even more motivation to put in the hard work to become the best version of myself. I think it's me versus me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. It's you versus yourself. And if you think like that, it's just you're going to be way better, you're going to be more successful. So that's what I ended up doing. I worked those couple months going into summer. I would work out twice a day. I would work out for 4 hours in the morning, and then I ended up coming here after at nighttime, and I would work out, and I would do that every day. And I felt like I was in the best shape of my life during that time. And I thought, man, this is gonna be the year. I felt great. I felt like I looked great. I thought I was gonna have a good year. So I ended up going into this year. Our first game was in California, and we didn't get the result we wanted. It sucked. We were down by 2 touchdowns at halftime. It was 3 touchdowns. It was 6 to 24 at halftime. We were down, and we ended up coming all the way back to we up by 1. It was 25, 24, something like that. And then we ended up letting them score, and it was just the worst thing ever, just how they scored and everything. It sucked. That moment, you're oh my gosh, we're gonna win the game. And then it just all went downhill like that. And then we had a chance to score to win the game, and I ended up throwing a pick 6, and it was man, this sucks. The score, I feel in games with our team this year, the score doesn't define the team that we are, because people don't, when you watch the game, you really think we're a good football team, but I feel the score doesn't really show how we are as a team. Our second game, we ended up playing Sierra Canyon. They're a really good football team up in California. That's where LeBron James' kid goes to school. Both of his kids go to school there, and they're a really good football team. And our head coach, Coach Morrow, ended up putting a lot of hard teams on the schedule first to get us good work for our league games this year. And we ended up going that game. We lose that game, and then we lose the next 2. So we're 0-4. So we think oh my gosh, season's over. We're falling apart. All this work we just put in for this past year, everything is just down the drain. Our head coach, Coach Morrow, gives us a little speech before our 5th game. Our 5th game was against Basic. That was the Henderson Bowl, and he gave us a great speech, motivational speech, inspirational, to get us ready for that game. And it was something different about that week of practice. Practice how you play. We had a really good week of practice that week, and I thought that ended up being practice how you play. We played great, got a really good win over a 5-0 team. They were 5-0, we were 0-4, and we ended up just kicking them real hard. It was a really good game, and we kind of blew them out. Our defense played great, had 5 interceptions that game, and it was a great experience. It was a great feeling to win, especially the Henderson Bowl, because that's a really big rivalry here at Henderson Bowl. Ended up getting the win, and then we come out the next week, and we end up losing 2 straight. Unfortunately, we lose to DP, Desert Pines, and then we play Liberty, and Liberty was the only game that Coach Batiste cared about. Ever since freshman year, my freshman year, we ended up beating them for the first time any level in Green Valley football has beaten Liberty in the last decade. So we ended up making history that day, and we couldn't do it my junior year, unfortunately, but we wanted to do it this year, and it unfortunately didn't happen. I mean, can't always win in life. That's the thing you gotta learn. You gotta get through adversity. Didn't end up winning. I was pretty upset after that because I just thought Coach is up there, and that's the only game he cared about. Especially last year, he wouldn't care if we won against some a Chaparral, Canyon Springs or Coronado or whatever. He wouldn't care about the game. He would care about that Liberty game. That Liberty game meant a lot to him, which means it meant a lot to me. So I thought that we needed to win that game, but we didn't. So I kind of felt bad for myself. I was being down up on myself. But then I kind of thought okay, let's use this as motivation to get better and play them again in the playoffs. So we're gonna see them again in the playoffs, and I believe we can beat them. After that Liberty game, we ended up playing Centennial, and we beat Centennial, and by a lot. That was a homecoming game, and that was a great team win. I loved it. I loved the feeling of all the fans at home. When I scored the first touchdown of the game, and I was celebrating with my teammates, and all the people around were celebrating, whatever. It was a cool moment. I loved it, and I just thought, man, that game is really gonna help us out. And tomorrow we'll play Faith Lutheran. It's a fight. We got to fight for the 3rd spot in our division, and that game is really going to define our season. Our coach was talking about it today at team dinner. He was talking about how this game's going to define our season. We'll end up going 500 in our league, and everybody thought, oh, Green Valley sucks this year. Green Valley's this. Green Valley's dead. Blah blah blah. But if you end up going 500, that would just be man, this team ain't that bad, right? So we got an important game tomorrow. This is probably the most important game I've had besides that Liberty game a couple weeks ago, and we got to win that game. Our coach Marl had a great speech today, trying to inspire us, to win. The slideshow he had was about live like Batiste, live by Batiste LLB. We have an LLB sticker on our football helmet to remind us live like Batiste. That's kind of the mindset he put us in as a football team, live like Batiste. Because how he lived, he was that guy. Like I said, cared about everybody. He didn't really care. He didn't care about nothing. He just cared about the success and the success of the people, especially the kids, my teammates. And the slideshow was great. It was talking about him and his life. We went through each word: live like Batiste, what it means to live, what it means about life, and what it means to live like Batiste. So I thought that was great to hear about all that. And we gotta finish the season out strong. It's my senior year now. I only got a couple games left. I've been playing football since I was 5, 6 years old, and now it's all about to come to an end. But I put in the hard work enough to get a scholarship. I'm gonna get some scholarships after the season. And I know I am, because I think I'm that player and I'm that guy that can play at the next level. And I always just gonna suck when high school football ends, because I'm never gonna play with those kids ever again. And I've been with them the past 4 years. It kind of sucks at the end of the day, but you gotta realize that things come to an end. My coach Morrow said, "You die twice. You die as an athlete, and you die you die when you die. And I believe that because you die as an athlete, football does come to an end at some point. I mean, not everybody can be Tom Brady being 45 playing, you know, and all that. So I think living like Batiste and thinking like a champion there's two good things that you have to live by in life. I mean, obviously not everybody knows Coach Batiste, or not everybody knows Coach Dom, Coach Phil here at Champion Training Center, but the motivation and the mindset that they give you is like some of the greatest things you ever receive. That defines me today as a person who I am. I think I'm a hard worker, I'm a good kid, I'm respectful. I get really good grades. I got like a 4.3 GPA right now. And you gotta be a student athlete, you gotta get the grades up.
It's a personal experience,
So I think I was in 8th grade and we had a max day, and like Coach Dom over there was yelling at me because I couldn't hit 125 on bench, and I knew I could hit, and he was just yelling at me. He's like, get this up, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, like I know I could do this, and he was yelling at me like, get it up, blah blah blah, and I eventually did, and I kind of felt like, man, like there's some things that you think you can't do, but when you really think like, oh, like when you think I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, you can do. Anything's possible. I'd say. Oh, yeah. So I don't remember. It's probably like a freshman, and me and Coach Dom were like working ball drills because like, you know, I couldn't catch. So we were working on catching, and we were just wrestling around, and we were on the turf, and I got like this big freaking scar like on my hand, and it was pretty bad for a couple weeks, and then it scarred up, and I look at it all the time. It's on right here, and I look at it and I'm like, that's what reminds me of him and here. And I think it's kind of like a birthmark of here, like it laid a mark on me here. So that's every time I look at it, I think of Champion Training Center.